It's time for Jazz Home Delivery with Tim Tamashiro. Well, hey there, everybody. I hope you're having a lovely time this evening, looking for something to do. Why not listen to some interviews and some little bit of live jazz? This is Jazz Home Delivery. I am your host, Tim Tamashiro, and thank you very, very much for tuning in. It's exciting. It's got a little bit of electricity when you start off a broadcast like this, knowing that it's going straight out into the internet. And I'm very, very excited to be here offering this for you here today. I'm really excited because we have a special guest tonight who is in a very, very unique location because this is just the way the chips fell for Gerry Hebert, who is seconded, well, not seconded, I guess he's isolated on his sailboat out on the west coast with his son, Robbie. And I'm very, very excited to welcome my friend, Gerry Hebert, and he's coming to us now. Hey, there he is. Gerry, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm great, Tim. How are you doing?
Doing so good. You probably have the most unique spot in Canada to be isolated in, but I have to say this dad joke, we're all in the same boat together.
For sure. Yeah, I'm pretty fortunate. I can't deny. It's been kind of cool that when the circumstances started to shift for everybody, I had already been working on a plan to get out to the coast around spring break. And so I just accelerated things a little bit and was able to pick up my son who lives in Vancouver, kind of on the route. And we decided, why not spend some time in our sort of vacation property, our little vacation property on the water.
Oh yeah, vacation property, a lifestyle on the water. Now you had your boat, pronounce it for me again.
Sejoura.
Your boat is called the Sejoura. I'm just going to show people a picture of your boat here. So this is the Sejoura, and Gerry is underneath. This is not a live camera feed. This is a photograph. So this, you just have to imagine Gerry just down a few steps and sitting a little bit in there. But I'll tell you, I mean, it's pretty exciting to know that you're down there in the cabin. I guess that's where you are, a cabin, or?
Well, yeah, we're in the salon, and it's just 40 feet, and it's kind of, you get used to kind of like small RVs that float. You know, they're a little different than, say, a typical kind of RV in terms of their ability to kind of manage things in a lot of conditions. And this is what we'd call an offshore style sailboat, or blue water cruiser.
A blue water cruiser.
Yeah.
Well, sounds pretty heavenly to me. The most surprising thing is that you have relatively good Wi-Fi out there. It's a little choppy right now, of course. Just as we're actually doing the show, it's a little bit choppy, but we can hear you beautifully.
Oh, excellent. Well, yeah, it's hard to say what we'll get because we do have Wi-Fi at the marina here, and then I have my phone's LTE, and I'm kind of working from both of them to see which one gives you the best video. But I'm glad you can hear me okay.
Oh yeah, we can definitely hear you. But it's it's kind of like sometimes when you used to see those shots from outer space, the astronauts would be kind of like bumping around and chirping around and stuff, but then you can't really see you very well. But it's okay. It's okay. We know you're there.
Okay.
Okay.
That's well. Cool.
So now you had a plan. You're going to play your saxophone a little bit later on, which we're really looking forward to. And Gerry's the guy who is prepared for everything. So he took his couple of saxophones with him. He took a microphone with him. You never know if you get a chance to be able to make an album while you're on a sailboat, right, Gerry?
Well, an album might be pushing it, but because I'm a music educator, I work as music artist in residence at a private school in Calgary. We had some plans in place before I left to do some online teaching, and that I was going to prepare some performances for the students and work with them a little bit individually as well as with groups. And so I brought my flute, my clarinet, my sax, but one of my saxes, and sort of set up a little studio kind of around the nav desk here on the boat. And at the same time, we've been doing a lot of sort of refitting and upgrading of our boat, because that was actually part of my plan at the end of March, was to do a bunch of jobs on the boat that I had.
Tell us about so your original plan. Tell us about what your original plan was, and then COVID-19 completely changed all of it. But
well, the original plan we were working on was to do a California trip with the boat this spring. And
Hmm.
then depending on the weather and circumstances, we may go as far south as Mexico, like sort of La Paz or Sierra Cortez and that area, Cabo San Lucas. And then we were hoping, if the weather and the hurricane season, lets us, was to cross to Hawaii with the boat.
Oh,
And that was good. Yeah, that was going to be a trip that we were going to do in July. At the same time, there's a big race in Canada to Hawaii called the Vic Maui Race, which has been canceled, of course, for this
yeah.
season. But it normally happens at the beginning of July every even year. So 2020, 2022, and so forth.
Yeah.
So that would have been, we weren't going to be in the race. We were just going to take advantage of the same time frame to follow the weather and go to Hawaii.
Amazing. And that would be to celebrate your 25th wedding anniversary. Is that correct?
It was. My wife Jenny and I have had our honeymoon in Maui in 1995.
Wow.
So I don't know what happened, but Tim, I knew you not long before that because you were at our engagement party.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. It was just maybe a year or two before that we met each other. So we've been friends for a very long time, Gerry, and I really appreciate it.
Me too.
I'm going to tell you something here online that so we have a couple of messages. Andy Hodgson is watching. He's going, "Hi, Tim," giving the thumbs up. Colleen Hebert.
Mom.
Mom and Bill are watching from Edmonton. So isn't that good that your mom and Bill are watching from Edmonton? Paul Charette is saying, "Trey, cool, Gerry. So glad to hear that you're playing after so long." And Jason Below is chirping in as well, saying, "Geez, Gerry, how long have you been on that boat? Might need a trim at the next boat."
Yeah, I think the hair grows faster, but Jason's one to talk. I saw his video of me, myself, and I video, which was like 4 Jasons. That's a lot of hair.
That's one Jason is hard enough to take, but 4 Jasons all stick together in video. That's pretty wild. So now you are out there with your son, and Robbie is he lives in Vancouver and he works in Vancouver. He's an actor and a dancer. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And now, so being a parent, I could imagine you're kind of going, I don't want my son to be out there by himself. So you invited him to come along and just hang out with you and quarantine, isolate with you.
Yeah, I figured it was like important for us to be together with our family as much as everybody is in this, unique time.
Yeah.
And so when everything started to change and BC had some of the first COVID cases, as we know, it would just seem to make sense that when he lost his opportunities to work and perform, everything shut down, just as it has for all the performing artists in Calgary. Sure. Vancouver had that. And so I figured, hey, let's get out to the boat. Let's spend a bit of time there. It's a chance for me to have some pretty special experiences with him and also keep our family kind of connected rather than, maybe ship him back to Calgary. We thought about that, but it was just like, because I'd planned to come out to the boat anyway, we figured, why don't we try a hybrid plan? And we'll come back to Calgary maybe for the month of May, I think. But for now, it's worked out really well for us to be out here together.
So there's something that you try to have to figure out then as gas stations along the way that it would be open, right?
At the time I left, it was fine.
Yeah.
There was not a lot of, all those kind of services were all pretty much operating as normal. So I left kind of a week before spring break, or the week before spring break in Calgary. So on the Friday, the 20th, I guess it was.
Yeah. Wow. That's pretty amazing. So Robbie's out there and it's great for you to have an extra pair of hands. You were busy doing some maintenance on the boat in the last couple of days, right? Tell us about that.
Well, actually, for the last couple of weeks, we've been doing major painting and sort of cleanup work that was due because we bought this boat a little over a year ago and we had plans to take it offshore, as I told you. And part of the jobs you have to do is you have to take it out of the water. You have to do underbody work, cleanup of the prop and any growth. And there's a bunch of little jobs because boats are basically, breaking all the time. There's always something you have to fix. Well, they're vulnerable to a lot of systems because you got to think about, imagine your house that floats. Yeah, everything goes through so much more stress and has to be really carefully managed and maintained because you have to be in charge of electrical, plumbing, your food, your water system, everything. safety
Yeah.
systems and sailing.
Gosh. Yeah. It seems like a ton of work, but I can tell that you really enjoy it.
Ah, I actually love it. Every part of it is so fun for me, and I learn so much, and I feel excited to. I'll say this: what attracted me to sailing was very much the same things that attracted me to music and performance.
Mm,
It's a
yeah.
very mindful sensory experience. When
Yeah.
you're out there on the water, you're thinking about all the things that that you need to be safe, but also to navigate, and you're working as a team, and somehow that feeling is very similar to like improvising with a band. Like you're on stage and time stops and you are engaged in the process.
Hmm.
And some of the things that I think musicians love, I feel like sailing, and there's other activities that do the same thing, but sailing has been something that's connected with me really well.
Wow. That's
I
amazing.
didn't grow up in a sailing environment in Alberta, as
It's
I'm sure you
surprising
know.
there's not a lot of sailing activity in Fort McMurray.
No, not up there. And I came across it, it's been about 13, 14 years from a sailing experience. And then it was like I was hooked.
Yeah, I'll bet. That's amazing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, we are watching your comments online. We're very excited to see that you're chiming in. Claire McMorty says, "Can't wait to hear the music, Gerry." Gallagher's online. Jason is chirping about how it's not about him; it's about your hair. But I wanted to point out that if you look on the screen right now, you'll see a website address that says Gerry Hebert, CalgaryJazzRelief.ca. Gerry doesn't work with CalgaryJazzRelief.ca, but it's a brand new initiative that's been set up here in Calgary in order to be able to help gigging musicians and find resources and to accept donations to go towards those artists so that they can keep bread on the table. As you know, all musicians, all artists, all their income is completely dried up. So if there's a way that you can make a donation to CalgaryJazzRelief.ca, we would certainly appreciate that. And we're just happy to have you with us, Gerry. Now, I need to just point something out, is that we were talking about what kind of music you would like to play, and you were telling me about your aunt and how she is. How she needs to be just taken care of so carefully now in this day and age of COVID. I mean, all people in seniors' homes, especially. Oh my goodness, that's a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. For my aunt is actually quite well known in Edmonton. She
Yeah.
was a jazz and sort of traditional Dixie style singer. And she was known as being Klondike Kate for many years and showcased in lots of different events as a celebrity in Edmonton for over 45, 50 years. And so she's living in a seniors living center now.
Yeah.
And we've been taking turns, my wife and I, giving her a call every day, checking in. It's really rough for her and for a lot of seniors that they can't have visitors. They don't necessarily have internet. She doesn't have regular access to things like Facebook or video conferencing.
Oh, really?
And so we've been trying to stay in touch with her the best we can.
Yeah, for sure. Now she's she's your favorite aunt, I assume, because you talk about her all the time.
Definitely, she's a special person in lots of ways. I had, and I say that because I've lost two aunts in the last number of years, but I had four aunts on my dad's side that were very much mother figures for me growing up at different times.
Yeah.
And so they've all been really important to my life, and I think to my kids and my wife. So I was saying to you before that one of the musical connections that I had when I did my first sort of solo CD project, it was in 2003, and I recorded a tune that was made famous by Sidney Bechet. Sidney Bechet is a famous clarinetist and soprano saxophone player from New Orleans who actually lived in France.
And some say he was the originator of jazz.
He was one of the, for sure, originators of the jazz sound and taking it to the world,
Yeah.
like Louis Armstrong. And I actually lived in France for a year, and I lived very close to a place called Place de Bechet, there was like a big statue of Sidney Bechet in the middle of one of the roundabouts in Paris, and I used to walk by it every day. And so I've really enjoyed his music, but when I lost one of my aunts unexpectedly, it was Rolanda's sister. I played a piece for the recording, and it became kind of a song that I've played in lots of family events, and sometimes happy ones and sometimes less happy ones, because we have those moments in our lives.
Yeah. So you have your clarinet there. Do you want to reach and grab it?
I
Look at
do.
that. He happens to have the clarinet there, which is lucky
Yeah.
for us. You're going to play a little bit of this song. The song is called Tu vois ma mère. Is that correct?
Si tu vois ma mère, which is if you see my mother. Yeah.
Say again?
If you see my mother.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, well, you get set up, and I'm going to introduce you. Here, bear with me. I'm just going to get this all set up. Gerry Hebert has his clarinet all set there, and he's ready to do. Here we go. Gerry, do your thing, my friend. He's just reaching up here. There we go. Here's Gerry Hebert. There you have him, Gerry Hebert with Si tu vois ma mère. Oh my goodness! It was every time I hear you play the saxophone, I imagine myself in a Woody Allen movie. I mean, it's that kind of a vibe about it. So, ladies and gentlemen, Gerry Hebert on the clarinet, and he's got another song that he's going to play for us a little bit later on. Please feel free to leave your comments in the spaces below there on Facebook. Lots of people chiming in, lots of thumbs up, Gerry, lots of hearts being sent out as well in appreciation for your music, and that's it's a good thing. It's a good thing to be hearing clarinet from a sailboat in where are you again? You're in North Saanich.
North Saanich, yep.
North Saanich, which is up just north of Victoria, BC. Is that correct? On Vancouver Island.
Yeah, it's on the peninsula, not far from the airport, about 25 minutes or so north of Victoria.
Yeah, it's very cool. Hey, would you be up to showing us around the boat a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. No, I'd love to. It doesn't take long.
Well, it's just long enough for us to be interested. Now we're all, yeah. Yeah, I've noticed that your boat is just covered in rich mahogany.
Yes, there is a lot of nice wood here that lasts for lifetimes, really. Which is, this boat was built in 1978, so it's pushing 40 plus years. Here at the front of the boat, you can see the V-berth cabin where Robbie's hanging out, and he's got a nice hatch and some shelves and some nice cabinets and stuff like that. And we have a little bathroom. They're not very big on a boat. We call them the head.
The head, yeah.
And we call them the head, and it's actually pretty functional. It has a nice shower. This boat has two large, what we call settees. Now that side of the boat is kind of a workshop right now.
Yeah.
And it also has a bunch of my studio stuff. But these beds are unique because the beds actually turn into sort of sleeping areas where you have a cloth called a lee cloth that keeps you from falling out of the boat or falling out of the bed when the boat is heeled over or in big waves.
Well, isn't that a good thing to know that you have that handy?
Yeah, trust me, we've used it and it's helpful. This is what's called the Galley, and it's fairly good size. We have a big ice box here. It carries enough food for 4 of us to eat for a few weeks. We have a cabin in the aft here, which is where I've been sleeping, which is quite cool. And here is kind of a cool feature in this boat. If I push these little seats or steps up, we have an engine room back here.
To the engine room and everything. Hey guys, we're pretty excited about this. No,
yes.
Says, looks awesome.
You didn't expect that in Jazz Home Delivery, did you?
Well, this is the one I'm excited to talk. It's because you're in such a unique environment. We might have lost Gerry. Who knows?
So
there he is. He's still there.
Yeah. And most importantly, we have the cockpit area, which is sort of where we drive the boat, obviously, and hang out. And I'll take you out onto the deck here.
Yeah, that's awesome. Right.
And it's evening. It's not too cold. It's been kind of 15-ish and breezy today.
Wow.
But obviously, I don't want to complain about the weather because back in Alberta, I've heard it's been less fun.
It got a little snowy the other day. It was 5 degrees today, though, so it was all right. There's nothing, we can't complain, that's for sure. So there you are. You're on the bow of the boat right now?
I'm on the bow. Yeah, you can sort of see what we call the windlass, is the part that holds the anchor and manages the chain. And, we've got our sails out in terms of, they're ready when we need them. We can't put them out right now. It'd be kind of fun to do one of these podcasts while we're sailing.
Wouldn't that be amazing? Yeah, you'd need some sort of a special long wire in order to be able to make sure that we got a good feed.
Definitely. One of the reasons we have good internet is actually the internet connection for this marina is right behind me.
That works out quite nicely, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Now, we've arranged for you to have a saxophone out there on the bow. Is that correct? Hello?
Yeah, I hear you, Tim. Hold this.
We can hear you too, but all we see is a dark picture of you. But that's okay. We're going to figure it out. Are you handing it over? We see fingers.
There we go. Yeah, I just handed it to my son.
He dropped the modem. Jason says you dropped the modem.
Maybe. I don't know. Can you see me? Can you see me okay?
There you are. This is perfect.
Well, maybe I here and play a little short excerpt of something for this last little spot. You've heard me play, and obviously I played with you lots of times back in our wine gallery days in the 80s.
Yeah.
These days, biggest player.
You're breaking up, Gerry. You're just breaking up a little bit, and that's just what happens lots of the times. I think that probably what's happening is that people are there on their boats that are also isolated, and maybe they're watching Netflix or something like that.
It could be happening. I don't know. Right now, I guess what I'll do is I'll play a short losing moment for you. Do you think you could do that?
For sure. And you're sending this out to Jenny, right? Your wife, Jenny.
Yeah, well, we're not going to go to Mexico or Hawaii this year, but maybe we'll do some other exciting things and epitomizes how hard she is a person. This is called the work song. I know she works so hard and that she helps so many people. So I thought I'd just give her a little bit of that feeling of the blues and that energy that can lift us up that music can have.
So that's lovely. Well, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Gerry Hebert, and he is going to be playing a song from his sailboat. This is something that we've all dreamed of at some point in time. We've always dreamed of having sax on a boat. That joke. Here's Gerry Hebert with the work song for Jenny McMorty. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, Gerry Hebert on his sailboat out on the west coast, North Saanich, playing the work song in celebration of his lovely wife, Jenny McMorty, who is working very hard on behalf of her clients. She's a lawyer in Calgary, and she's got a lot of people that she cares about. She keeps all of her staff on. Is that correct?
Yep. Everybody's working hard every day. They're doing their best to keep physical distancing at all times, working in a way that hopefully is sustainable and keeps everybody safe.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, I know that you guys are staying safe out there and keeping yourself busy at the same time. What do you do in the evenings for something interesting to do, Gerry?
Well, we've actually worked a lot around the sort of day when it's light. We've been working hard and having fun. And then in the evenings, we've had some great conversations, watched a little bit of Netflix, a little bit of Disney Plus, I guess. I think it was Disney Plus that Robbie brought along. And so we've been watching a few shows and having fun talking about things that inspire us and sharing all those ideas together. Well, he's here with me.
I know he's there with you. But there he is. There's Robbie. Your first mate and Captain Gerry. So many nice comments coming in, Gerry. Mike Melly is clapping his hands. He's going, this has got to be a first to be able to have a show from a sailboat like this. I'm very thrilled that you could do it. Jenny McMorty sends a little heart, and she says, very nice. There you go. McMorty saying, really enjoying this. A lot of people back home missing you, Gerry. And I know that you put in a lot of extra effort outside of your own career, your teaching career, and your time on the sailboat. And that is when you're the president of Jazz YYC. And we're really excited to be partnered with Jazz YYC to be doing the International Jazz Days. Tell everybody about what we're going to do together.
Well, I think this is incredible, and I'm so excited for not only your partnership with Jazz YYC, but also a big team of people and artists that we're bringing together in a way that's making something brand new out of a situation which could have easily been like just postponement and cancellation of all these events.
Yeah.
And so with your vision around Jazz Home Delivery, Cody Hutchinson, our artistic producer, put together a roster of artists that are going to feature people from across Calgary, all styles of jazz, across Canada, and some international guests. And we're looking forward to it, which is International Jazz Day, showcasing music every day. I think we're going to do them at 7 o'clock like tonight. And it's going to be a live show with 2 artists, usually, I think most days. So 56 artists over 28 straight days, 4 weeks. You are going to have your hands full.
Oh, yeah. But I get the easy part, and I just get to talk to nice people about and talk to them at home and hear their stories, you know. But that's I'm really excited about being a part of this. So essentially, what Gerry is saying is that instead of Jazz YYC folding the whole International Jazz Day, now they're turning International Jazz Day into 28 days in a row, and we're really excited to be a big part of that. And thanks for inviting me along. Really excited to do that. The first show, just so everybody knows, is going to be on the, what is it again? The
30th.
Oh, the 30th of April.
Thursday.
And that is actually International Jazz Day. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yep, that was going to be quite a big event, and I know that this series is already featured on the International Jazz Days Festival website, and so we're one of the few activities that's going to happen.
Wow. That's really exciting. So maybe we'll get some International Jazz Days hierarchy to come on the show. Maybe. Hey, let's see what we can do as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, I'd like to get Herbie Hancock to come visit.
If we could get Herbie Hancock to come on. Well, thank you so much, Gerry. It looks like you're doing so well out there, and I'm so excited that you could be out there with Robbie and do all this stuff and find a unique way to be able to maximize your time.
Yeah, I'm very, very blessed with the situation I have, but I'm also mindful of my friends and family and all of us in the country going through this situation. Mm-hmm. This is obviously unprecedented. So part of me feels very fortunate, and part of me also knows that it's because of a very difficult and challenging situation that any of us can have to do the things we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Like this show and like the festival and like the artists out there that are being creative, I love to see people finding new ways to create their music and to enjoy their experiences together. And I think when we get back into making performances in the same room, mm-hmm. we're going to realize how lucky and how precious those moments are.
That's for darn sure. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in now, I want to bring out to the point that Gerry is appearing on behalf of CalgaryJazzRelief.ca. That's an organization that has been set up in order to provide resources and funding to jazz artists who require those funds and keep food on the table, lights on in their home. So if you can make a donation to CalgaryJazzRelief.ca, there's a link there, and you can make a donation in support of that. Gerry, thanks again for being a part of the show. I'm going to leave the show tonight and leave you out on the West Coast with a photo of that you posted from last night, a picture of what was happening last night. This beautiful sunset just off the bow of your boat. It was absolutely lovely. Thank you so much, Gerry, for being a big part of the show this evening, and we'll see you real soon. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Tim. Appreciate it. This was a lot of fun.
You betcha. You too. Hey, everybody. Thanks again for being a part of Jazz Home Delivery, and we really hope you enjoyed tonight's show. Make sure you tune in on Thursday. I'm still working on who that guest is going to be, but we will have a guest. I'm working on it hard, but bear in mind that we're trying to also set up 56 other guests that are coming up in the weeks to come. I'll also have a bit of an announcement on Thursday that I'm really excited to tell you about. I'm not going to hint at what it's going to be about right now, but I'll tell you all about it on Thursday. Thanks for tuning in to Jazz Home Delivery. Make sure you share the show with your friends after it's posted. And, thanks. Bye. See you, everybody.